Hi, and thanks for watching. Angelo Lambropoulos, Director of Lambros Realty, and you're watching the May 2019 Cherrybrook property market update, where I give you a quick update of what's happened in the area this month, obviously, and what's forecast to happen, and just some general observations as well. So I'll get straight into it. Now, registered home sales for May 2019, there's been 12, okay? In comparison to May 2018, so May last year, there were 13. Now, the median price registered for May 2019 was $1,262,500 as opposed to 1.5 million, which was registered in May 2018. So median price is a little off the boil, but again, that's not the indicative figure we look at. We look at sales volumes, as I've discussed. Now, the highest price registered for May 2019 was 1.68 versus the 1.835, which was registered in May 2018. So just some the statistics there for you. So basically, what the general observations I'll discuss is what we're starting to notice, and as I have mentioned in the previous property month updates, the sales volumes I anticipate will slowly start to increase as the year moves forward. As you can see, the sales volumes are pretty much on par, keeping in mind that we had the federal election come into play in May this year as well, which generally tends to slow things down. So very positive sign there. As we're all well aware, the coalition was re-elected, so Liberal government in power. They, since they've been elected, confidence amongst real estate consumers has almost improved overnight. Things with, I guess, and this is the other thing I want to talk about as well. Just be wary of the positivity that's out there. I think it's very premature to come in and say, all right, well, now that the RBA, the official interest rate cuts, it's gone down 0.25% from 1.5. It's the first cut, I believe, in 2.5 years since August 2016. So I think the things we've got to be wary of as well is we need to, whilst they are positive signs, yes, and APRA is obviously, loosening their lending restrictions to the banks. There's talk that the 7.25% serviceability quota is going to be reduced to under 6%. So on average, you'll start to see people, borrowing anywhere up, 100 to 200,000 extra on their initial budgets. But in amongst that, what we need to remember is the reason the RBA has cut official interest rates and the reason they've gone down this path is inflation still remains low, right? So the whole idea is to kickstart and get employment happening, and the forecast is by dropping the rates, they obviously anticipate the banks to follow suit and instigate and do the same thing, passing it forward to consumers, having them spend and buy in the economy, creating more jobs. I think what we just need to be wary of in that scenario, it could be an adverse effect, and given the correction we've seen, people could be more inclined to take advantage of these new rate cuts and really putting them into their loan and bolstering their saving for a rainy day, so to speak, because one would think that whilst there are talks of another couple of rate cuts, before the end of year is complete, I think people are very wary that, hey, it's not going to get much better than this, let's be honest. And the other thing I also will caution, if you remember the May 2017 federal budget announcement, where I think the three big indicators which saw the property market cool was the foreign investors were taken out of play, and obviously the other thing was the banks, the lending restrictions imposed on the banks, right? So if you look at that, we still had record low interest rates of 1.5%, and essentially they did nothing, right? We saw how quickly the property market cooled. So I still question, will the interest rates, I don't think the interest rates will be the catalyst kickstarting the property market, so to speak. I think it'll be more a case of the banks, allowing you access to funds a little more easily than what was imposed as a result of that May 2017 federal budget. So I think, I guess where I'm getting at with this is, yes, whilst it is rosy and is looking good from a property market perspective, I think the economy as a whole could suffer in the sense that, encouraging people to spend and getting them out there to create jobs may very well be the case. But if these people don't save and put the money in their properties, right, then we'll be back to square one again, where people will be out of jobs, and the economy will be back on a downward spiral again. So I'm not that we're going to hit a crash or anything of the sort. I don't believe that'll happen. But I think, finding that equilibrium, we're still, this probably isn't the right formula, right? I think, and this is just my opinion, a more sensible approach would have been more towards, I don't think cutting the interest rates was necessary. We've already had record low interest rates, and hey, it hasn't really done anything. And let's be honest, what's 0.25% going to do in the grand scheme of things? I think the answer really lies in, yes, maybe easing the allowing people to borrow, but people understanding what their max budget and capabilities are, really encouraging people to focus on paying off their loans. And if you are going to encourage spending in the economy and consumer confidence, I think we should be doing something in the sense of creating more jobs, opportunity, because at the moment, just because we're pouring more money into the economy doesn't mean it's instantly going to create more jobs. I mean, we need more factories, we need more infrastructure to allow people to work. And then there's the argument that population growth is coming in and it's a growing Australia, and of course it is. But again, those people will need places to work, right? So there's a lot of different, I could talk for hours on this. I mean, if it's something you'd like to discuss with me further, by all means, happy to do so. And sorry, I've gone off on a tangent. I often do. I think of something and then it just gets the better of me. But sorry, going back to my notes there. So I hope that gives you an idea. It's not doom and gloom. Definitely positive signs for the property market. Definitely positive signs in Cherrybrook. Supply is still low. So, I mean, if you're a seller looking to sell, this is a great opportunity. There's plenty of buyers out there without a doubt. The same can be said with the rental market as well. The rental market is still ticking along quite nicely and nothing's changed there. As I've mentioned earlier, supply and demand. That's what it comes down to. You price it right, it'll lease within a week. That's almost a guarantee. The other noticeable mention is the commencement of the Cherrybrook Metro. Now that seems to be going quite well. I've asked a few of you out there that have been using the service what you think, and thank you for your feedback. All in all, it's been a very good response. Obviously, there have been a few technical glitches where the train stalled between Epping to Cherrybrook and they had to get a driver out there to assess the situation. There was a 20-minute delay there from what I understand. All in all though, I've heard very good things. The only feedback I have heard is, by the time it hits 7:15, good luck trying to find a parking spot at the station there, where a lot of people are using off-street parking on surrounding streets like Dalkeith Road, Edward Bennett Drive, and as residents, I'd imagine you're probably not too happy about that, with 2-lane roads turning into 1 lane now. So I think that's something that probably will be addressed at some point in the near future. But I guess just to summarize and just going back to my notes here, I think it would be premature to think that the market is going to prop up and kickstart almost immediately. Generally what we see is, whilst we can see sales volumes on par at the moment, it'll take at least 4 months till there's an accurate measure and complete consumer confidence out there in the marketplace, right? Till they assess what's going on. It's still that caution area where I think buyers are waiting for APRA to officially remove those restrictions, as I touched on before, the serviceability. A lot of sellers out there are thinking, hey, we'll wait because this is positive signs, it's going to pick up and go as the year goes on, and it may very well do so. But I guess the other thing is you need to consider is basic economies of scale, supply and demand. So whilst you may be waiting very well for the end of the year thinking this is going to be my time to pounce, if there's ample options out there and buyers have too much to choose from, that will create obviously a price correction, so to speak. And I guess one scenario that does spring to mind in Cherrybrook, and I remember this very well, back at the end of the year 2016, market was in its boom cycle, moving along quite well. November, December, there was a total of 52 listings from memory, right? And there were talks of a bubble or a correction taking place. Was this the end of the boom? All it was oversupply. So I dare say if that happens in the boom cycle, just be wary that's well and truly going to happen in the in the plateau cycle where we sit now, right? So I guess the best time to sell evidently is when you're ready, and basically when demand outweighs supply, which is definitely what we're seeing at the moment. So that pretty much sums it up. We've also just recently published our most recent Cherrybrook location report. So that's now available. If you want a copy, please come see me at the office here at Apple Tree Shops, Cherrybrook, 132 Shepherds Drive, Cherrybrook here. You can call me on 0294810999, or simply email me on info@lambrosrealty.com.au, and happy to provide you with a copy. Obviously it's a 9-page report which we go into things in further detail. Save me chewing your ear off here. So once again, thanks for watching. I'll see you again next month, and if you have any questions or anything you'd like to further discuss with me, please feel free to give me a call. Bye now.